Welcome everyone, this is Honest Restart, and this time I want to have a quick little discussion on a potential secret multiplayer game that Nintendo could be saving for an E3 2021 Nintendo Direct. Now, when I say one, I'm just saying at least one. It could be more. I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot of reasons, I think, that are out there that are suggesting that Nintendo has something cooking up. There are a lot of rumors and leaks circulating. There is the recent update that came out today for Super Mario Party and it's online. Nintendo also did recently update their online servers as well. And there are a few different development teams that haven't come out with anything for quite a while that could potentially be working on another big multiplayer game for Nintendo. So we're going to be looking at all of these different details, trying to kind of piece it together and see if we can sort of come up with a pretty good picture for what we can maybe expect from Nintendo in terms of what they're hiding for a secret multiplayer game. That's what we're talking about today. Now before we jump into things, let me very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen. You can check that all out. It's linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe. To get things started, let's first talk about this whole multiplayer online situation with Nintendo. Historically speaking, Nintendo has not been great with online. There's no secret there, there's no surprise there, there's probably very little debate. However, over the last few years, I would say since the advent of Splatoon, Nintendo has been getting better. They've been sort of trying to build up a more consistent online experience in different ways. It still has a long way to go. Voice chat's a tremendous issue. But Nintendo has shown a strong interest in putting out multiplayer games with a big online focus. But what's interesting, early this year we got news that Nintendo has been replacing their multiplayer server system. They used to use the NEX, which worked with the 3DS and the Wii U, and now they're using a new system called NPLN. And the Monster Hunter Rise demo was apparently the first game to use this new server system. It might have been a bit of a test. And now we've been playing Monster Hunter Rise and the game is fantastic and the multiplayer experience is pretty darn good in terms of playing online with other people. It might be the best online multiplayer experience we've seen on the Switch as a whole. It's very consistent, it's pretty darn reliable. You can play the entire game online and potentially notice little to no sort of glitches or dropouts or lag. It's pretty darn good. So with that in mind, perhaps Nintendo wants to have other games take advantage of this new server system that they have put into place. Today, as of this recording, we got an update for Super Mario Party. That game came out back in 2018. And today, in 2021, we have gotten an update for the online Super Mario Party. A lack of online features has been the biggest complaint for Super Mario Party, and all of a sudden Nintendo has added that. It's peculiar, for sure. And I would say it's even more peculiar because there have been a lot of insiders suggesting that we will be getting a new Mario Party game this year. And I've been in agreement with that because we never got any sort of paid DLC for Super Mario Party. There wasn't a lot of post-release content for Super Mario Party. It seemed like Nintendo released the game and then they moved on to the next thing. Which is why it's a little strange to see all of a sudden, so long afterwards, that they put out this free update adding some pretty extensive online options for Mario Party. Does this mean that there is no plan to release a brand new Mario Party game? I suppose that's a possibility, but I'm not entirely sure that's the case. It could very well simply be them putting this out there, getting Mario Party fresh in the minds of gamers, and perhaps testing out an online infrastructure for Mario Party on their new servers. Between Monster Hunter Rise and this update for Mario Party, I am starting to get the sense that Nintendo has been sort of testing out their online infrastructure here because they're building up to something. And obviously Monster Hunter Rise is already a big deal in and of itself. That's going to end up being one of the best-selling games on Switch. It's doing incredible, and online is a big, important component to this game. It's mandatory, really. So that alone is reason enough to update your online servers and get it working, but I do think there's even more on the horizon here. So one thing I think we should be considering here is that there have been a lot of reports suggesting that Nintendo will be coming out with a new Switch revision potentially later this year. And this Switch revision is supposedly going to be having some level of 4K capabilities. It seems to be fairly extensive, something like a mid-gen refresh. Perhaps the best comparison we have is PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X, or the new Nintendo 3DS. All of these systems serve to sort of lengthen the lifespan of each particular system for a few more years, and they sort of offered a little bit of a boost to that system's life, and there was software, at least for the new Nintendo 3DS, that was brought to support it a little bit to lengthen that lifespan. We could be looking at a situation here where Nintendo wants to come out with a revision like this that will allow them to lengthen the successful lifespan of the Nintendo Switch, and they may want to come out with a lot of software to support that. And this also may have something to do with why they are only now updating their online servers on the Switch. Considering that back in the February Nintendo Direct, we got confirmation of Splatoon 3 to be coming out in 2022, and it seems to be very far along, and there are rumors coming out from some credible places like, for example, Samus Hunter, who is continually getting more and more of their leaks to come true, and they've been suggesting that Splatoon 3 could be having a tournament at E3 and is apparently going to be an early 2022 game. The point I'm trying to get at here is that it does seem like Nintendo wants to put out a lot of strong, compelling software that will have some big multiplayer components, but also could help to serve to push a brand new system. It's looking like Nintendo wants to have a big mid-gen refresh here, new online infrastructure, new 4K capable system, a lot of big new games like Splatoon 3, like Breath of the Wild 2, which I still think is a strong possibility for holiday 2021, and then there's also open world Pokemon Legends Arceus. So it seems like we're looking at a pretty big period here. Like going into holiday 2021 and early 2022, it's looking like we're gonna be seeing some pretty big things. Switch 4K, Splatoon 3, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Breath of the Wild 2, that's all huge. But maybe there's more than that. We don't know much about the second half of 2021. All we really know about is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which is not even being made by Game Freak, it's being outsourced. So that's not even the main effort for Game Freak and Pokemon Company, that's going to Legends Arceus right now, which is coming out early 2022. So then what is Nintendo's big plan for the second half of 2021? I do think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a part of that, but you know, there has to be more than just that. There's got to be something else, and even if it doesn't come out for 2021, there is the rest of the Switch's lifecycle going beyond that. I think that there are other things coming here. So what are some of those things? Well, one of them could be a brand new Mario Party. Even though we just got this online update, it could very well be the case that Nintendo did move on to making a whole other Mario Party. Normally there are a couple Mario Party games per generation, per system, so to think that they made another one to come out 3 years later, not at all crazy. And this online update for Super Mario Party might not be a hint towards there not being a new Mario Party, but rather a stress test for the system to sort of see how online would work for Mario Party. Perhaps. I do think it could kind of go either way, but given that there have been some insiders suggesting that Mario Party is on the way, a new one, I'm more inclined to kind of believe that, but you know, we'll see what happens here. Either way, there are other potential secret multiplayer games from Nintendo. So, one example is a game from Monolithsoft. Now, hear me out, I understand, Monolithsoft makes single-player games. They make the Xenoblade games, which are huge single-player Japanese RPGs, and they are fantastic. So why am I including this developer from Nintendo as a possible maker of a big secret multiplayer game? Well, we have seen job hiring suggesting that they could be looking at some sort of MMO kind of like game. If we go back to Xenoblade X did have some online multiplayer aspects. It did seem to have some MMO-like qualities. It's possible that they want to build upon that and have something that has even more MMO-like qualities, and they weren't able to do that before back on the Wii U, in large part due to their online setup. But after the success of Monster Hunter Rise and how that's going over really well, maybe Nintendo and Monolithsoft have some sort of game that has some extensive multiplayer components here. It still probably will be some sort of big RPG with a vast world to explore, but it also may have some nice online multiplayer components considering what Nintendo's been doing lately. I think they might actually be able to pull it off this time. But now let's get to the team that I think most likely has some sort of big multiplayer game with a huge online focus that they've definitely been working on for quite a while. And that's the team that has made both Mario Kart 8 and ARMS. This Nintendo team has shown that they are very capable of making a pretty big, extensive multiplayer game. So with the updated online servers and them having not come out with a game since ARMS in 2017, they very likely have something that's relatively close to completion, and there's a pretty good chance it could be announced this year, and there's also a decent chance, obviously a little bit lesser, that it could even come out this year. So that's really what I'm sort of looking at in terms of like the big secret multiplayer game. Could it be Mario Kart 9? We haven't gotten a grounded Mario Kart game for Switch, so maybe they want to finally put that out there. Although I will also argue that there is 30+ million sold of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. Nintendo may have made the decision that it would make more sense to focus on something different and push whatever that may be, and just let the evergreen status of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe keep the Switch going until they're ready for the next generation, perhaps about 2 or so years from now, and then they release a new Mario Kart game. So if it's not Mario Kart 9, what could it be? Hard to say. You guys know, if you've been following me for a while, that I'm a huge fan of F-Zero, so I'm praying it's F-Zero. I think the Mario Kart ARMS team would do a great job of that. They have shown that they can make competitive, fast-paced games with a high frame rate with online, and now with Nintendo's improved online servers, they can run a lot better. And Mario Kart 8 even had a lot of that F-Zero crossover stuff, so I think they would be the ideal team to revive the F-Zero franchise. But that's just a possibility that I'm speculating on. I don't have any sort of tangible information that I think is suggesting for sure this team is working on a new F-Zero. It could be anything. It could be a new IP, it could be another revived franchise, or it could just be Mario Kart 9, or maybe a sequel to ARMS. Either way, this team is working on something, and I think it's very likely that it's an online multiplayer game, and I think there's a pretty good chance we see an announcement for it this year, potentially at E3 2021. But what do you guys think is happening? What do you guys think Nintendo has up their sleeves in terms of online multiplayer games? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, this is Honest Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.